Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be an analysis of some of the most popular futures markets that traders care about. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, one quick clarification. I'll be using the 1 hour time frame. So for those of you that are maybe new to charts, what that means is each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 1 hour's worth of time. So first market we're going to look at is the NQ. And as a reminder, even if you just trade the MNQ, what I talk about on the NQ, you could take and apply to the MNQ since they're basically mirror images of one another. So first dynamic here that really stood out was earlier on, anybody that, if you did take a short of that trend line right there, you had a nice little move. Now, it's not like anything collapsed or anything like that, but from a trading standpoint, yeah, that was enough room right there to pull some profits out. But notice right where the price stopped going down. The party stopped right at that purple line, which I know I've talked about in the past. So from a technical standpoint, not a huge shock at all because that is the 50-period moving average. So yes, a very nice bounce off of that level. But as of now, I think that trend line has served its purpose, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level. And we'll just kind of keep an eye at some of the near-term areas of support, which right now, if there is any sort of pullback in the next session, got to think a lot of people are going to be watching and wondering about, this general area right around the 535-ish area, because you do have two areas of support right there. You have, again, the purple line there, 50-period moving average, but then also the big brother of the 50-period moving average, you have the 200-period moving average right down around that general area. So that still doesn't guarantee anything. It's not like if the price comes down to that area, it's for sure going to bounce. My point here is that if the price does pull back down around that area, it's more than valid to think that you could find some support right around that general location of things. And then in terms of just an overarching level of support in the event those moving averages don't hold, I think there's a pretty interesting level here that has now formed right at the $400 or $21,400. Now, in terms of areas of resistance, as of now, we're in striking distance of this level that I've been talking about, but it's kind of been irrelevant because the price had made, make it a little bit more relevant by getting closer. But I would say that the price has now done that, and that is these previous highs from over here, valued at the 955 mark. So still more work that needs to be done. That's true, but I think it's more than valid, especially if the momentum can pick back up for the price to get up there relatively quickly. Now, of course, there's no guarantees, but my point here is just looking back here, there's really just, it's a big space within the chart, so there aren't any technical levels that really stand out as, oh, whoa, that could be a problem. I'm not saying that problems can't arise, but as things stand right now, due to, like I said, this area here, there just isn't anything that is suggesting problems. So I could see if this breakout continues for it to grind back up to that area, and then that is a potential problem. Will it break at that area? I have no idea, but that is an area that you would definitely think could present a bit of an issue. But all in all, good solid session. Next one here, we are looking at the ES, and a couple things to just point out. First one, the price continues to respect that trend line right there that I put into place a few days ago. And so when just looking at NQ, think about that trend line was actually broken, but then the price quickly recovered. On the ES here, this level has not even been broken. So still a beautiful looking uptrend. Price is doing a good job of respecting it. So if there are any sort of pullbacks, the two main areas of support that I would keep a close eye on are that purple line there, 50-period, and then, yes, the trend line right there. Now, the one dynamic that occurred today, which was very solid, is the price has now been able to get back above the pink line, which you now know is that 200-period moving average. Previous to this, whenever the price would get close to it, I guess kind of close right there, but definitely right there, got very close, just could not make any sort of, build any sort of momentum. But that was not the case here. Had this very, very nice hourly candle right there, got above it, back tested it a couple times, and are now getting some more separation in the upwards direction. So preferably speaking, in the sense of what would make this chart look the healthiest and strongest moving forward, that would be if the price can stay above the pink line. But again, if the price falls below that, that doesn't mean the entire chart's destroyed or anything like that, because again, you do have these other areas of support that I've already talked about. In regards to levels of resistance, really like NQ, I'm not saying it's going to shoot straight up to that level, but just going back here, there aren't any areas that suggest any sort of major problems. The one quote-unquote major problem area facing before today's session was that level right there. But as I already talked about, that has now been put behind us. So now it's a question of, can the price continue to grind higher and higher? Seems reasonable given the openness of the chart here, but we'll have to see what happens. Next one here, the YM and the Dow Jones. Very, very impressive session here, and pretty much just straight up. I mean, one green candle after another. So this level right here was an area of resistance that I thought, might present an issue, and it did, to be fair, present an issue both here and here. Price kind of went sideways for a little bit, but that didn't last very long. And then after a couple hours up through there, it went. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that level, as I think it served its purpose for now. Because from a support standpoint, I would say the easiest supports to just keep an eye on are going to be the moving averages. The pink line, 200 period moving average, and that purple line, 50 period. I'm debating. Do I even really? Yeah, I'm going to delete that. I think that level has served its purpose. And I just don't want to create confusion because there's lines and clutter everywhere. So I want to try to keep that as clean as possible. So yes, that level does still pertain to the chart. It's just not relevant anymore, which is why I figure I'll just get rid of it right now. So from a support standpoint, actually, now that I say that, I could see this trend line right here coming into play at some time in the future. Yeah, no pun intended. So I'm going to get that line in play. That's actually a very interesting trend line. I think a lot of people have probably drawn that so you could have some potential self-fulfilling prophecies play out there. So I definitely want to keep that in play. Now, as far as battlegrounds, it's all about the red line up there, 153. It's been grindy, well within that range. And as has been the theme, I don't really see any other suggestions of problem areas until you get right up around that area. And even if the price can get up through there, this is the resistance zone that we talked about several days ago before the big drop right there happened. But now the resistance zone is coming back into play with the top part of the zone being 233. So this is kind of the golden goose area. This is the area that I would suspect it to present some problems. But if the price can push up through there, then it's very logical to think that you could expect a good solid amount of upwards buying pressure and momentum breakout. You probably got some shorts hanging around up there with their stop losses up above this area. So you get them participating in terms of exiting the trade and buying. Things could get very, very interesting. But yeah, definitely very, very impressive session here for the YM. We're now moving markets into the oil market and specifically crude oil. So taking a look here at CL. And yeah, unfortunately, this movement here yesterday, when I was doing the video, it had been this nice move here. And I was like, okay, yeah, there's a bull pennant. You got to keep in mind the trend, though. And the trend ultimately did play out. That purple line right there, just 50 period moving average, smacked down the price, smacked down the price. And now the price has rolled back over. Now, I guess to look at the glass as half full, I'm going to just move that. At least the price is still up above the lows from here at the 70.65 mark. So, like I said, maybe there's a double bottom. Trying to look at things, like I said, a little optimistically for those of you that are maybe bullish or in or whatever. So potentially, but in all seriousness, this could be it. Maybe is there going to be some sort of double bottom where the price comes down here and bounces? Of course, no guarantees. That's why risk management matters. But I could see that or something similar to that potentially playing out. If there is any sort of bounce, though, then as has now been very, very clearly represented, that purple line there is public enemy number one. As I already talked about earlier on in the session, that went right back to just smacking down the price, not letting it through. So that's not to say the price can't get through it, but the price is really going to need to bring it to A game if it is going to be able to push up through that level. And then just from the overarching level, you have the pink line, and then more so that overarching trend line up there. But yeah, no doubt about it, a rough session for crude. And now hopping into the precious metals and specifically gold, GC, just crazy movement once again, higher highs. Although right now there has been this deeper pullback. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of a couple of these lines as they serve their purpose. So this is where things get a little tricky because, yeah, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within, 3 minutes, well then yes, the chart's looking really bad for you. But if you care about the grand scheme of things, yes, it's pulled back, but within all actuality, this is still very much so in an overall uptrend. So I'm going to go get rid of that level too. And the easiest way to really measure the trend right now is just to watch that purple line, which has become very relevant on several of these charts. But case in point right here, you can see it did a great job of supporting the price. So in my opinion, as long as the price is above that purple line, then the bulls are still in control. Now, even if the price were to come down here and break below there, does that mean that gold's destroyed and that the chart's ruined? I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that would be a suggestion where it starts to make sense of, okay, maybe the bears are starting to step back up. But right now, count me not convinced that this has anything bearish to do with anything because this has occurred before and then the price just recovers. But like I said, I will start to believe that a little bit more and be convinced if the price were to come down there and push down through that purple line right there. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, party essentially stopped right up there at about the 903 mark, so keep a close eye on that. But all in all, gold remains very strong. So that wraps up the analysis, and as you saw at the top of the screen the entire time, if you are looking for a prop firm, maybe looking to try somebody else, then definitely give Take Profit Trading a try. It's who I do personally use, so I'm not just recommending them for the sake of it. That's who I use. And if you see your country on that list, that's not a good thing. But if your country is not on that list, then they are open to people around the world, which is awesome. So make sure you use the link claytrader.com/take profit, because that'll give you the best deal possible. And they're always running promotions. So in order to make sure that you're getting the best deal possible, make sure you use that link. So thanks for considering doing that. As far as these videos are concerned, if you enjoy this analysis, please hit that like button. If you want to support the channel in a super easy way, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. But yeah, definitely check out Take Profit Trader and use the link to get the best deal possible. Thanks for watching.